Well, here we are again with a panel of distinguished Belfair and former Belfair members who were involved in one of the seminal events in the history of Belfair in its 30-year history, and that was the hosting by Belfair of the Players Amateur Tournament. And if you've been in the clubhouse right outside the pro shop, you see these pictures on the wall of the winners. And I know that a lot of women zoom in on that very young Ricky Fowler.
Yes.
But these lovely people were integrally involved in the organization, the setup, and the running of the Players Amateur for that period. So let's get a brief intro. Tell me when you joined your name and when you joined Belfair.
Perry Robinson. We came in 2007.
Nancy Kuykendall, 1998.
Mary Lou Pilder in 1998.
Bob Cebulski, 2006.
Okay, and so it started in 2000, you've told me, and ran for how many years?
10,
Until 2011.
Okay.
It was the final year.
Okay. And how did it come that Belfair was hosting this?
Well, Duke Delcher lived here and Tom McKnight lived here, and they were buddies who had played Davis Cup? Walker Cup together. And they wanted to start a premier amateur tournament. And they thought Belfair would be the perfect place. They always had it in the summer when the kids were out of college. And there weren't that many people here then because it was hot. And they went back to where it was cooler. So they thought this would be a good place and they wanted to show off Belfair.
It was a great for Belfair. It was just a great showcase for Belfair. We were new. We wanted people to know about us, wanted them to come be here. And so it was a very generous event. And the kids were great golfers and they went back to their communities and spread the word about how well they had been treated here. Right. And that's it. It just kept going then.
And Duke and Tom, they had really good international connections as well, too.
Yes.
And as a result of that, a lot of the players that came in were really, at that time, the best amateur players that were out in the international field. And we had a chance to get a good percentage of them here.
Terrific. Now, these were young players, probably not yet with much money.
In the beginning, they had 3 divisions. They had a senior division, a mid-am division, and a college division. So the first year we hosted, we had 2 senior players.
Define senior at that time.
Well, it was 55 and over, I guess.
Oh.
And then the mid-ams were there, and they finally dropped the seniors. You know, nobody would care about them. They wanted these young college kids.
They were all just fresh out of college. And I had a mid-am and a kid in high school.
In high school.
He was 16. He just won the Connecticut Amateur Championship.
Uh-huh.
And he came with the guy that mentored him, and he was playing in the mid-am.
Very nice. So you mentioned you had them. So the players stayed with.
They stayed in our homes thanks to Nancy. She found homes.
I found houses, and Lori Burke was actually the first housing chairman, and she got busy with something, and I came on to help her, and then it was mine.
Oh, it was yours. It was always yours.
And we found homes for everybody. If people were gone, they'd let us use their empty house as long as there was an adult there, because college kids tend to drink a lot. Yes, and we didn't want their houses trashed. So
they probably ate a lot too.
Yeah. Tell them about eating.
Well, they had all their meals at the club, at breakfast, lunch, and dinner, which was great. So the hosts were like, some kids would get up and have breakfast, they didn't want to come. Right. But Mike's 16-year-old, do I have to go up there?
Yes.
And we were like, you can stay home and have breakfast. You don't have to, you know.
And these were good players, so they had caddies, I'm assuming. Perry, did you?
A lot of them did.
Well, yes, a lot of them did have caddies, but one of the players that we kept was Kevin Tway, Bob Tway's son.
Yes.
And the first 2 days, I could have been playing golf. I don't know what I was doing, but it was hot. And I was available on Saturday and Sunday, and I asked Kevin, I said, do you want me to caddy? He said, sure. So I caddied. On the last day, he and Justin Thomas were paired as the last 2 folks. And we got out to the 14th green or tee on the west, and we had, as is typical in the summertime, a big thunderstorm.
Oh, boy.
So the house, and I don't remember who the owner was. I don't know if it was Duke owned it at the time or somebody else, but the home out there, that's sort of a Spanish style home, was a safe house. So we all went in there. I had a caddy bib on like everybody else, but we were part-time. So I go in, all the kids are on their phone, they don't talk to me. All the caddies knew I wasn't a caddy. They don't talk to me. And then no one from Belfair knew me at the time. I had a caddy bit off. They didn't talk to me. So about an hour and a half of this, it clears up, and we go outside, and we're kind of standing over near the championship tee on the 15th tee box there. And the kids the sun's out, and we're waiting for the horn to blow so we can start play again. And Kevin is standing there, JT is standing there, and JT, if I may just show you, was literally talking to his friends, bouncing a ball on his club, but not ever looking at the ball. The eye-hand coordination was just incredible, just incredible. Finish the story, we get to the 18th tee box. Kevin hits his ball, and I'm sure JT did the same thing. I can't even imagine.
This is on the west course.
On the west course, over that
Bunker.
gunch or whatever it is out there. He's 30 yards over that. And as we're walking down, he looks at me and goes, "Where am I in the standings?" Now, I was so enamored about being a caddy. I was just worried about cleaning the ball and doing all these other things. I said, "I don't know." And I looked around, and they had one of the stanchions, and he was 2 or 3 strokes already ahead of Kevin. Of JT at the time. He proceeds to hit the ball onto the green, makes a birdie, and that's
Wow.
it.
Routine birdie.
Routine birdie.
Well, all because of your caddy.
Yeah,
Oh,
yes, I'm sure.
Helped him read the greens. And,
It was a great experience. No, I didn't do any of that stuff, but it was really a great experience to walk along. I mean, we know watching these folks on TV how talented they are, but when you're literally standing next to them and you're an amateur like I am, it's really a powerful thing to watch. They're incredible athletes. So.
Yeah. Now, Bob, I know you hosted some.
We hosted for 3 or 4 years, and one experience was with Cameron Smith.
The Aussie.
That's Aussie Cameron Smith from Brisbane. And Cameron was 18 years old, shows up here 145 pounds, and he doesn't even own shorts.
Oh,
He only owns long pants. He said, "We play long pants in Australia." And immediately, Diane and I took him down here and got him outfitted down at Tanger. We said, "You can't play in 97-degree heat in long pants, okay? It's just not going to happen." So when we got back, though, the funny story was they had to come early because their international flight schedule, and to get the right flights, didn't totally jive up. So their coach actually called me from the Australian team, and he said, "Can these guys come 3 or 4 days early?" And he knew that I'd hosted other Australian kids before. He said, "Sure, just they can come in." Well, I didn't know it was going to be 4 of them.
yeah.
So we had a complete foursome, but I went out on the course with them ahead of time because I didn't want them just roaming around. Not that they would ever be drinking and also practicing. And they kept picking on Cameron. I said, "You're all older than he is. You outweigh him by 40 pounds. I said, "What are you picking on him for?" And they said, "Hey, mate," they said, "you see that little guy right there?" They said, "That little dink is the best putter in Australia. And he may not be able to drive anywhere near us, but," they said, and I said, "the best putter," and I said, "How do you know that?" And they said, "Because the best player in Australia is Adam Scott, and he takes lessons, hints from Cameron about putting." And I said, "You're serious?" And he said, "Yes, we're deadly serious."
Wow.
That at that time even, Cameron was known as the best putter around.
And he's still a wonderful.
And he's still a wonderful putter. And really, it held true because when he got onto the professional PGA Tour, that's what enabled him to win some events and play great in the U.S. Opens. And also then he goes out and wins the British Open
Wow.
because he was a great putter,
Unlike some of us.
unlike some of us.
He was one of the guys that won here and won the British Open.
No, he didn't win here. That's how remarkable the group of players was. He ended up finishing that year. I'm trying to remember who won that year. He was like 3 or 4 shots behind whoever won that year.
Because Ben Curtis won our very first.
Yes, Ben
Yes.
Curtis won the
And
first
then
one.
He went on to win the British.
As did Brian Harman.
Yes.
That's right, as did Brian Harmon. Actually, we sponsored here in the Players Am quite a few British Open winners.
Yeah.
But it was a select field of young players. It really
Yeah, it
was.
really was
From all over the world.
Now, Mary Lou, you said your husband was involved with the Walker Cup and Tom McKnight and others. What were they the people that contacted the
Well,
players?
it was Jimmy. What was Jimmy's name? Jimmy's dad was the PGA guy.
Taylor.
Jimmy Taylor's dad was the big hoo-ha at the PGA. And he was very involved in the
see.
beginning with Duke and Tom, and he might put up a lot of money because he
Right.
wanted it too. I think Jimmy had been on the Walker Cup with them.
Maybe.
They were back,
Got it.
and so it was just an exciting time,
Yeah, it sure was. How did the Belfair members take to the tournament?
It was a real community builder.
It had.
It was amazing how,
We all came together.
and then you got to know everybody because you
Well,
worked
there weren't
with
that
them.
many of us.
There weren't that many of us.
But
True.
but it really, as people came, they joined each year that we did it, and it really built community that I don't think anything else would have. And then like 2 years later, we built a Habitat House, and the same crowd came out and did that together. We had a lot of community.
It was a
Yeah.
great way for. It was in the summer though.
It was in the
And
summer.
you know, the storms and all
Yeah.
the stuff. And I have a Max Homa story. He came from California and his flights were all screwed up. So the taxi, we had people picking him
We had
up.
people picking them up at the airport.
Picked him up at the airport and brought him to the clubhouse. But it was 2 a.m. It was 2 a.m. and he's sitting, and so he has my number because I'm housing, and he calls, and I'll say, I'll be right up. And we went up, and he was sitting on the curb with his clubs and his little satchel, and put him in the car, put him to bed, and took him to his house the next day.
Oh my goodness.
But the storms were a problem sometimes, but usually.
That's when we, like you said, that house you went to. We had to ask people, will you
Yeah,
be a
right.
safe house? And we made sure they were all throughout the course.
That was smart.
And they had a big flag out back.
Uh-huh.
So you knew that was a safe house.
Was it all 4 rounds on just the West course?
Yes.
Except for the 1 year on the East Course. And that led to the incident with the
Oh.
United States Golf Association.
I don't know that answer.
Okay. The year we held it on the East Course 1 year, and we started the tournament, and about 5 or 6 foursomes into the start of the tournament, on the 3rd green of the East Course, there
Par
is
five.
a par 5, and it's a false front, and there's even a false, more or less, left side of the green. And what happened is all the players coming through started hitting their golf balls up on the green, and either during the process of pitching into the green or then subsequently even putting towards the hole, the balls would get near the hole and start running back down. And sometimes they roll back 4, 5, 6 feet. And as a result of that, I was hosting that year. Matt Yeager, who was a young Aussie as well, he walks up to me when he gets to the green, and he had just 4-putted the green. And he said, Mr. C, he said, this isn't right. Somebody's got to do something about this, And so they had called back to the clubhouse. They brought out the USGA officials, came out to the 3rd green. They all finally, after it looked like an NFL referee collaboration, that this wasn't acceptable on the 3rd green. They restarted the entire event. So 6 groups, we stopped it right there, and they restarted the event. And I think, Marilyn, you said somebody had actually started out by birdie in the first 4 of the first 5 holes,
Including that one.
including that one, I think.
And he was not happy.
He wasn't real happy.
But he was the only one that wasn't.
But it was totally unfair. It was very obvious.
I know that spot.
Yeah. Another thing that was interesting was, I don't know who did all the memorabilia. All the volunteers got shirts with Player AM logos. Okay, every year was a
Every year
different
we had
color.
a different one.
You're right, and it was well done. Unfortunately, my pink hat didn't survive. I've used it in a number of events that the ladies threw. And they also had Players AM logo hats as well. So yeah, matching shirts and hats.
And these were all gifts from Nike.
That's
Yeah,
right.
Nike was
We didn't pay
sponsor.
for anything.
That's right.
And they had great connections with Nike, Duke, and Tom, and Jimmy.
Did the, prior to the tournament, other than the debacle on the third hole, did the USGA have any input into
We had a
hole
rules
locations?
person here,
Yes.
Yeah, we had
Murphy,
we had
Right.
important,
Mike Murphy was the
Right.
rules
and he
guy,
was
by the book.
by the book. It was all the USGA.
Yeah, and they worked with James Swift
Yeah.
and other, whoever the head pro was, in order to set up the whole
Yeah.
design for the entire tournament.
Yeah.
And it was very well organized that way.
It was amazing. When you think of the way we all came together, never having done a tournament.
Yeah, and this was new territory.
You house, I'll get the volunteers. It was amazing. And then her husband and my husband did the leaderboards.
Yeah.
And they made them.
Yeah.
They
Is
cut
the
up
ones
these.
by the cart area?
Oh,
there?
no.
All over the course.
They were on.
Everywhere.
They were on
Leaderboards.
7 or 8 tee box. They were on different tee boxes, and like every 4th or 5th hole, and on 19 and at the end of 18. But if you took that job, it was yours all day, every day for 4 days.
And you were expected to show up. I'm going to give Bill
Per the
McHugh
schedule.
credit for this because he whipped everybody into shape every day. Came out with a new sheet where you were supposed to be on the course, whether it was a tee box, a green, in the fairways. And there's some funny incidents, like there too, because on 17 West, they're teeing off from the championship tees. They're hitting it out over the water.
Yeah.
And some of these kids could be really funny too, because they'd come walking out and they'd say, "You sure that went into the water out there?" And you'd say, "Hey, I was been standing out here in the hot sun all afternoon and I just saw that one sail kaploop right in there, And
They had
but
spotters.
I didn't see the splash. Well, there's a lot of weeds in there, a lot of reeds, in their grass, Spartina grass.
Yeah.
But no, it was, Bill did an incredible job getting everybody out on the course every day.
So how many Belfair volunteers? More than 100?
No, we didn't
We
have.
didn't have that many people.
This is the early days.
You had multiple
Belfair.
jobs.
You had many hats, and you
Right.
worked all day, every day.
Right.
There was no breaks.
That's why you hosted.
Checking in for
and then
meals.
worked on multiple sites, spotting and
So
other
we had
things.
to check in after Nancy got them their housing.
Right.
They came here and they got their shirt, their hat, their shoes. We got all their information in case something happened to them. Where are their parents? How do we get a hold of them? It was a lot of paperwork that you don't think about.
So it ran for 2000, 2010, 11. And
Yeah.
so why is it not still here?
Yeah, well, they decided to take it to Berkeley Hall.
Who is they?
I think
Tom and Duke.
And do.
And I think it's because they thought they'd get more money there.
But they needed a lot of money to keep it going, and a lot of Belfair done it, and they were like,
Yeah.
because we didn't talk about the day before was the pro-am, but like they have in the professionals. So we all paid $1,000 to play in it
Right.
to help with the funds,
Sure.
and that was fun.
And then the Heritage took over.
That's right,
The
there it is.
Heritage took over, and they did a lot of the logistic work.
Isn't it, I heard that the first year it went to Berkeley. You can maybe tell me what actually happened. But Lauren and I heard that they didn't have enough homes. There weren't
didn't.
people that would offer homes. So as opposed to here, where
We were all,
as they were saying, it really became a community and everybody enjoyed doing it and everybody liked hosting. they didn't get all their residents to participate in the process.
We didn't stay at Berkeley very long.
For another 10 years.
We did.
I think it was 10.
No, I didn't know if it was that.
I think it was-
They probably signed a 10-year.
Yeah.
I don't know, but then the Heritage decided to stop it. Yeah.
They just didn't have celebrities like we did. The
Right.
year that I think it was the same year as with Kevin, Ron Howard's son
Oh,
played.
yeah.
And Ron came out in Dallas. His
Oh,
sister
great
came
job.
out. And when Kevin was playing one of the earlier days there with his son, I don't remember his first name, but they came out. Opie. That was Dad.
That was Dad.
But,
Yeah, and Ricky Fowler, he was the #1 junior in the country when he came and won it. And I was taking him down to his house. He stayed at the Disselraths. And I said, Ricky, you're a California boy. Why aren't you going to Stanford? Because they had just won the NCAA golf. And he said, I have a plan. I'm going to go to college for 2 years, and then I'm going to turn pro. And I don't want to work that hard to go to Stanford. So he went to Oklahoma State for 2 years, and then he turned pro.
He's done all right.
He has
He's
done
still wears
just
the
fine.
Oklahoma State colors, I think, in his
Yeah,
final
every Sunday he wears orange. Yeah.
Who was the guy from Annapolis?
Oh,
And he had an entourage, like his mother, his father, his
yes,
girlfriend.
yes.
And you had to house them all.
Yeah, well,
He was around a long time.
was it David somebody? I don't remember.
But he was at the academy.
Well, we're almost out of time. Is there any final thoughts? You think Belfair would like to do this again? Or?
Well, I would like to offer it to anybody that does this. We had such a good time, my wife and I, when we lived out in Texas, part-time out there, commuting back and forth. We kept Luke List, Ben Coles, we kept Roberto Castro, a bunch of these kids, David Lingworth, so on the web.com tour. So it was a similar kind of thing, not quite as well organized as these ladies did, but I would recommend to anybody, if you ever have a chance to get involved in that kind of process with these young men and women, it's a terrific experience.
You had Hudson Swamp.
At Hudson Swafford,
Yeah, at your house.
So,
Well, on behalf of all of Belfair, now in its 30th year, thanks for sharing your stories and memories of this wonderful 10-year, unique part of Belfair's history. And I wish you all many more years.
It was very special. Special time.
Thanks,
thanks
everybody.
for having us.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you for doing that.
Thank you.
Yeah.